What's up? Just listen to the podcast, the one that you're going to listen to right now. I want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up. And thank you for being interested in understanding what is healthy and fit, or at least the conversation that I'm going to invoke. And then we'll try to figure out why I keep swiveling in a chair rather than just kind of staying here and moving this around instead. And by this, I mean a Joby tripod. So, we're going to talk about what is fit, what it means to be fit, what are the new standards of being fit, what are your standards of being fit, as well as what did I battle with? Where was I at with what did I assume is healthy and fit? What was my journey like? Where am I at right now? And then, where am I at right now against what could be the new standard of being healthy and fit? So let me know what you guys think down below. Before you watch, give me a like, share, a comment, anything that you could possibly do to help this channel grow so I can put out more information, so I can help more people. But I'm rambling right now and I'm swiveling, which means I need to create the audio into a YouTube video so that you guys can have it and you guys can listen to it. And then you can give me your feedback, your likes, your comments, all that good stuff, and share it with your friends. So I gotta go.
What's up, everybody? It is time to talk shop. Talk everything fitness, business, motivation, inspiration, impact. You know, all the good stuff that are going to help you be a better you, help you have a fit identity. Let's talk about it. So today, if you guys don't know, I'm Mike Karpenko. I've got like 20 plus years in the health and fitness industry. Trained personal clients, celebrities, athletes, all the good fun stuff. And, you know, I also help people virtually online with their health and fitness transformation and to build businesses. Man, that is a lot. And I'm across every single platform. So go follow me on everything you possibly could imagine. It's probably at Mike Karpenko, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you want. All right, but let's talk today. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about being healthy and fit. And what the heck does that mean, right? I think that right now we're looking at a world that it's kind of like an undescribed or undetermined status to be healthy and fit, right? I think that everybody has a different ideology, a different vision of it. I kind of think it's like a painter seeing what they want to be able to paint and then saying, this is what I believe the image that was in my head comes out on the canvas. And I kind of feel that we're in that, and I kind of feel that we've pulled away from some imagery that used to be healthy and fit, and we've kind of moved into a different area of healthy and fit. And I want to talk to you guys today about that. And I also, if you take a minute right now, let me know what you guys think is healthy and fit. Like, let me know down below. What do you think is healthy? What do you think is fit? What do you think is healthy and fit? What's your idea? And again, I don't think that there is any right or wrong answer, maybe. And I think there's a lot to be learned from each generation. And, each generation. I think that's the best way to put it. You know, no matter what your age is, there could be a different perspective. So enlighten me. I'd love to hear what healthy and fit is to you, your generation, where you're at. It would help me help myself and help a lot more people by understanding what the current climate in our ecosystem is. So let me know if you could down below. Now, all right, let's talk healthy and fit. First off, I could tell you that I came from a time, and again, I'm older, so I'm 53, so I came from a time where I've talked about this, thin is in, fit's where it's at, and again, we're going to talk about fit, but I came from, if you were thinner or on the thin side, that you would end up being considered healthier than anybody that was, per se, more curvy, which would be considered to be overweight at some times, or just not thin. I just want to call it that because, curvy is fit too. Let me just make sure I understand, I throw that out there. And, I came from that place where the more abs, the more vascular, the more muscles, the more aesthetically pleasing you look, or the more aesthetic you are. I don't want to say aesthetically pleasing. So let's say the more aesthetic you are, and it was considered to be a health variable. It was a factor in determining your health. And I think that's switched. So I came from that area, and now I feel like it's made this giant shift away from that, and we pushed more into, the mental health side of it, the happy factor, the fulfillment factor, which I think we're all really searching for, right? Is this fine line between fitness and fulfillment, and somewhere that we can have both, right? Like this health. I think that's where health lies, right? Between fitness and fulfillment, health lies, or yeah, health lies between those two, and we are away from thin is in, and it's just been on my mind a lot lately, and I wanted to discuss it, and I wanted to like know your temperatures, because I feel that we have moved away from an image conscious fit, and we've moved into more of a technical, or an online presence sense of fit, and a sense of mentally fit. So, you've got this image, you've got online, and then you've got this inside your brain, right? That those are the three that I kind of feel like we're at right now. And I feel that there's been this big push away from like almost like a cancel culture towards the whole ideology of that you have to look fit in order to be fit, because we all know that if we took those three things apart, right, and we're like, oh my gosh, this person is so ripped, they've got 12 abs, and they have very low body fat, and you're like, yeah, but they're a mess. Do you know what their home life is like? Do you know what they say about their husband? Did you know what they're like? They're a train wreck, Mike. And then you're like, oh yeah. And then you pull that apart, and you're like, okay, so you're like, they're mentally unstable, they're unhappy, they're unfulfilled, and you're like, okay, where do I go from here? They're not fit, but they told me they're fit, they look like they're fit, and now I don't know what fitness is. And then you've got this, hey, I'm online, what's fit to me? 4,000 shares, I'm happy. Boom. Like, I got clout. That makes me fulfilled, and I am online healthy. That's me. Look at me. I got views, comments, shares, followers, clout. So that's what you got on that technical side. And yeah, sure, you could take away one of those, or be really good in one of those. Let's just say, like I just said it, right? Jumping all over the place here, and I apologize, but um, if you look at somebody and be like, gosh, they're so like, they look so fit, but the others are lacking, right? Like mentally they're lacking, or their online is lacking because they put all their efforts into being fit. Or they could be like, I'm just this major online mogul with likes, followers, comments, but they could use some help in the health and fitness area, and they're popping Adderall, and they're doing everything that they possibly can to stay on top of the world and the amount of content that they're creating. And, they got Reddit feeds, and they got haters, and, depending on the platform you're on, because we all know different platforms have different energy, and can bring that out. Like YouTube, woo! YouTube, you guys are brutal. I've seen it in the comments sections, especially at the start of my YouTube channel. It's been all positive so far, and I appreciate all of you guys that give me those. But I know that YouTube can be a brutal place. So you start looking at that. You start looking at that triad, and you start saying, like, where is that balance throughout the whole entire process of, what's off and what's really healthy and fit? Because if you're too much in any one of those and not enough in another, are you really healthy and fit? Are you really okay? If you're taking medication, and I don't want to hate on medication, I don't. I think it's needed. I think that, it's out there for a reason. But if you're taking medication that you could actively manage other parts of your life better so that you wouldn't have to take medication, are you really healthy and fit? I mean, are you? And if you're just working out 19 hours a day so you could look healthy and fit, are you? And if you're deep in the dungeon like I am right now in my office, and you're just like, you know what? I am literally just going to care about followers and comments and shares, and I'm just going to do everything I possibly can do to increase that online presence. Are you healthy and fit? And I think that that's all kind of evolved over this time period, and I would love to hear your your measurement tools. Like what are you measuring yourself against being mentally healthy? What are you measuring yourself against being online healthy? And what are you measuring yourself against personal imagery and blood work healthy? Like, do you have any of those? Do you have standards by which you want to operate, or do you not have any? Either or. And I think that that's something that we're all going to have to start to push into is what are our standards in those three particular areas so that we can then operate and manage stress effectively and manage our lives effectively and manage our health effectively. And when we look at it that way and we decide to pull apart, just in those three areas, I think we can start to lean towards healthy. And that's that combination, that middle line of fulfillment and the way that you obviously look and the numbers, the blood test stuff. And I think that that's a big piece of it. So fitness and fulfillment meeting together to find health. And it's just been something that's been on my mind that I've been like throwing around, and I wanted to clear my head, and I just wanted to come on and get some stuff out there to see where your brains are all at. And I know that when I was growing up, or I was in my younger 20s and in my 30s, there was a lot of outside pressure to look good. I mean, I was not the coolest kid in school by any means. The only thing that saved me in school, swear on this, is the fact that I could play sports well. If I couldn't play sports well, I don't know what I would have done in school. I was frequently not going, frequently going late. The only reason that I would show up is because, I wanted to play sports. And if you didn't play sports, if you weren't in school, you couldn't show up for practice. That was the end all, or you couldn't play in the game. So that was my end all be all. But let me tell you something. I didn't get a lot of girls. Like, my buddies were like cutting sleeves off their shirts, doing everything that they needed to do. Girls loved them. They had cool cars. They had everything that you could have to be able to date and be fit and feel good. And for me, I was just a skinny kid, and no matter what I did, I couldn't put on weight. Like, I literally would wake up. I'd set an alarm and I'd wake up at midnight, and I would make a weight gain shake. It was like 1,000 calories or 2,000 calories. I don't remember what it was. That's one of those things I would do at midnight, and I was down it. And then there was a point in time in my life where I was also, because I was such an ectomorph, and an ectomorph is somebody who easily burns through calories and super thin guy person. And I also would take a whole loaf of bread and I would make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and then I would put them in the refrigerator, back into the loaf of bread, and then I was like, anytime I was in the kitchen or I walked by the refrigerator, I had to eat this sandwich. I had to eat a sandwich. Like, that was the rule. Like, you walk by the refrigerator, you gotta eat. So here I am, right? Waking up at midnight, throwing ice cream and weight gainer stuff together and drinking that, and I'm doing this. I'm not gaining weight, and I'm like, but all my friends look healthy and fit. All my friends look jacked. All my friends look visually pleasing. And there I am. I'm a wet cat, and I'm like, I just can't do it. So that was kind of like my world that I lived in, was you got to look healthy and fit. It didn't matter what I had to do, right? Get up at midnight, eat as much as I could, eat ice cream. I didn't care how much sugar was in it. I just know that it was calories. Yum. And I just kept eating it up. And, I was eating carbs like crazy. It just didn't matter. Didn't matter how I felt inside. Didn't matter if I was feeling good around my friends. Didn't matter. I wasn't in the moment because I wasn't a cool kid. I didn't look good. At least that's what I felt. And I was in that time when you would say to yourselves, thin is in, fit is in, you got to look aesthetically to be cool. And then, obviously, I got involved in the fitness industry, and the fitness industry turned me from fit into performance-based. And then I started getting into, I was originally training people to look a certain way. And I fell down that rabbit hole just as, like, I think every other trainer back then did. As long as you're aesthetically pleasing, your customer's happy. If your customer's happy, you did the job, you got referrals, you get paid. That's how you built your business. And then, I started to be like, I don't want people to have abs that are constantly getting injured and they're constantly getting hurt, or they're trying to do like crazy, outrageous things on a consistent basis in order to achieve results. And that uprooted me pretty bad. And I was like, all right, I'm going to push into more of a performance based style of training. So then came along the next generation of, the internet burst. And at the internet time, everybody became an expert, right? And, the less clothing on, the better you looked as well. That birthed it back into, oh my gosh, they look fit, they look fit, they look fit. They have the best abs, they have the best, she has the best butt. He's got the biggest, broadest shoulders. That's what it turned into. And you were like, whoa, like that's absolutely insane. Like that's how I'm going to judge myself now. And it just turned back into imagery. And I've talked about this before in the past about how eyes are really the true currency. Warren Buffett says that, and when there's more eyes on you, that's your currency. And so when people started to get into filters and started to look better and wanted to feel better, and they're like, oh my gosh, she has beautiful eyes, or she can tone her nose, or he can tone his abs with filters and all these other photoshopping skills, and it was like non-reality. So then there was like this giant non-reality of fitness and what is healthy and fit, because people never knew. And it was just a place of like, holy cow, what's good, what's bad, what's good, what's bad. Like, I have no idea, but I'm going to lean towards that guy, and I'm going to believe him because he's got 12 ripped abs, and I don't care what he tells me to take. If it's, RIP 9000, Fuelogenics. And you're like, great, I'm taking it. If it says take 4 pills, I'm taking 6. I might even take 8 because, you know what, I'm going all in. I want 12 abs. And that's kind of like was that big push again back into visually pleasing. And then it turned into, oh, I need to be visually pleasing so that I can have a lot of followers and I can have more eyeballs on me. So then it was like, oh, not only do I have to be visually pleasing in real life, but how do I become visually pleasing in this virtual life? This life that really doesn't exist, this online community that, that energy like has this ecosystem that moves in and out of, that we have no ability to control other than what we post, right? Like that's really the only thing that we can control in that world of technology is what we post. We can't control who comes and sees it. We can't control what they say. We just can't control it. But what we can control is how we look and what we present online. And that turned into, all right, I need a shock factor. That shock factor was skin to win. And skin to win was a place of, show it more. If you looked hot and sexy and you could filter, skin to win. And obviously, women won that battle in a giant way. I mean, there were just way more dudes like eyeballing girls, and that was the birth of Instagram. And it was like, whoa, crazy, because Instagram was really the birthplace of photos, pictures, and imagery. And so Instagram just became this place of, again, now I got to look good. Then I'm going to add in that component of I want likes, followers, and shares. And so now you've got those two components battling each other. It was just a back and forth between those two. And you could hide your real life. You could be like, hey, eat your salad, binge on cookies. Yeah, eat your hummus and carrot sticks, drink your whiskey. It was, those kind of things that started to be this push-pull environment of what was real and what was honestly happening, right? Like here, or what was happening online, what you're presenting yourself as, and then what you were really doing behind closed doors. And that was just an image base. So there you've got those two pieces that are sitting back and forth and saying, you got to look good. Doesn't matter what that is. If you got to work out 18 hours a day, look good. And then you're like, whoa, wow, I can just tone my abs on a filter. And this is great. And I do look good. How about them apples? And I can do less. So the hack started to happen, right? The hack of how I can look good to be online to get more followers started to really take place. And it got ugly for a bit. I'm going to be honest. Like, it got ugly, and I probably got caught up in some of it and watched it and participated in it. I had abs and, and I wasn't filtering. That really was never my thing, and it was never a good skill of mine. But I was watching it happen, and I was participating in it, and I got caught up in a little bits and pieces of it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I really, really am promoting like skin to win, and I'm really being that guy, and then we all started to catch up on that, right? Like, since we can't control information and the speed of information that's out there right now, you've got like, you can't control it. Like information. When I say it, I meant information. But you can't control that, right? How fast content is made, how fast it gets delivered, and how it gets. You just can't control those things. The speed at which content is created, delivered, and and where it goes. I'm talking in circles now, and I apologize that, but you get the point. You can't control the speed of information right now, and that then opened up a whole entire opposing side of, well, as good as information is out there is as bad as information is out there. And it also started to think about, oh my gosh, I'm starting to get wrapped up in the hack and what is easy. Because as humans, I do believe this. We push away from pain and we push into pleasure. So what's easy? Do less work. Hack it. Just give me the hack. All I need to know is, the hack was the filter. The hack was, say you worked out for an hour, only work out for 10 minutes. The hack was Photoshop. The hack was, I really only lost 8 pounds, tell them 10. That's the hack. Well, the hack then became a mental weight on top of everybody, in my opinion. So when I think about all of this health, what is healthy and fit, you're moved into mental weight. And this information that's out there from everything, right? From politics to health to fitness information to news to motives of opposing sides, everything is out there. And the people that control that information are the platforms that you're on. Period. That's just the way that works. And you started to think about, and you started to see how all these people started to grow their followings. All these people had to have mental share. So you now had this quantifiable place of, wow, they have more followers. They have more of everything online. Therefore, they're healthier than me. And I really, truly feel that shift happened. And I believe that shift was like clout. And online clout created a lot of it sped up mental health. The weight that you had on yourselves, like, it just sped it up. And I don't mean the physical weight, I mean the mental weight that was on people, whether it was you were hacking, lying, or judging yourself against people that were online and better. It sped it up, and it made it even heavier than the weight that you carry on your body between skeletal system, water, and muscles, like all that stuff. And that's like was the other piece to it. And people were like, I'm now exhausted. I'm tired. I'm rebellious. I'm mad at myself. I'm mad at everyone. I'm locked into a screen now because I get instant dopamine and serotonin because when I get a like, a follow, or whatever it is that I get, like, it instantly makes me feel better because that's now turned into my currency, and that makes me feel healthy and fit, right? Like, I feel great, therefore I am great. It doesn't matter what I look like. I feel great. I am great. And I see that trend, and you'll see, I'm not against this, so let me just first say that. But you see this trend where somebody who is considered to be clinically unhealthy, which would mean that they were overweight, that maybe their blood work is off. I don't know their blood work, but you could guess that their blood work is off and that they are overweight. They have an inability to move, might be on medications. You see that person, in their world, and then they're like confident enough and just rocking the bikini, and you're like, whoa, like, kudos to the confidence. Like, I give the kudos, but I'm also like, in my head, I'm like, when did that person take the turn to think that they were healthy? And I'm like, they just have a different view of health. And again, I think that's where you can enlighten me and coach me through this and let me know your sides on health. And think, does body fat, does size, does height, weight matter in the world of being healthy? Like, does it, or is it not? I mean, I'm not judging anybody who does it. Maybe I did, because I'm asking the question. I certainly don't want to run from anything that I was talking about, but I do feel like saying and scratching my head because of the generation that I grew up in was, man, when did just unhealthy body fat and size and ability turn into healthy? When did we not care about that? When did we make this shift away? Because I know that if I gained 20 pounds, I'd be out of my head. And again, that's my standard. And I know that people have other standards, but that's mine. And I'm like, when did that shift? And I see through the three parts of that, thin is in, fits where it's at, to technology, to mental health. That's where we're at right now. And my question, too, to you guys is, where do we go from here? Because if we go back into the cycle and we're like, okay, we got to hack this mental health, it scares me to think that the hack to mental health is pharmaceuticals, right? Like, oh, well, I take an upper to be lasered in, I take a downer to sleep, or I have high levels of stress. Well, I don't deal with that with the management of my life and management of my health and fitness. Well, I manage it through, some level of medication. And that to me is like a frightening place because I feel like we're going to go back into another hack. Like, what's another hack? Or are we going to lean closer into, and I don't know the answer to this, are we going to lean into food? Are we going to lean into things that are made from the earth? Are we going to lean into more raw ingredients? And are we going to push away from online presence? Are we going to push away from this quantifiable state that we're in, that we base people on likes, followers, shares, comments? Are we going to move away from that? Are people just like, I don't care how many followers you have. Like, I don't, or is it still going to be something? I mean, are we going to adopt that? I made this comment to a buddy of mine, and it was, do you think we're going to go to a place where you're going to get your healthy, quantifiable, statutes or, modes, like markers? That's the word I'm looking for. If we're going to have our healthy marker, it's going to be height, it's going to be weight, and it's going to be body fat percentage, and then it's going to be, your online presence marker. Like, what is that? Like, oh, well, if you don't have 25,000 followers by the time you're 18, you're unhealthy. If you only have, like, what's that linear line look like? What does that graph look like in the world of health, and how to figure it out? Like, are we going to have so many markers? Like, how many medications are you taking? What are you not taking? What you are taking? Like, what's going to become the new marker of health? And I think that's why I wanted to do this podcast, was plain simple. What's the new marker of health? Because obviously thin is not in, and obviously just making moments and gorging, overeating, and doing whatever you want whenever you want, and saying, no big deal. I gained 4 pounds on my vacation. Big deal. I made moments, kind of thing. It's like, like what are our real markers? Is it moments? Is it weight? Is it ability? Is it online presence? Like, where is it in this world, and where are we going to move to? Like, what's the next leap? And I would just love to hear anybody who's got any outrageous thought process, anything. I mean, I think there's been a lot of talk. There's going to be like what do they call it? Like online. You have an online. I'm thinking of the word. What they called it? Like. Yeah, like your online presence score, your online score, your personal score that somehow is measured online based on people tracking where you go, what you do, who you interact with, all these kind of things. I mean, there'll be that score, but what's our health score? Like, what is it? What will we base it on? So if you guys could, again, let me know this stuff. Like, I'm here to hear what your thoughts are, where you're at, and especially generationally. The different age groups, no matter where you're at, and genders and everything. I'm interested in hearing where you're at, and I think that's the only way that we can have conversation, and that's what I've always wanted this podcast and to be, is to be a place of conversation and exchange of information, not me just talking at you, but a place that I could stir the pot, that I could bring up things that are inside my head, conversations that I have with myself and my friends, and then put them out there to either educate, to inform, to create communication, and to just create vision. I'm a big vision person. So wherever you guys are out there with that, with vision and with your health and your fitness, enlighten me. I'm here to hear it as far as being enlightened. And I don't know why I'm using the word enlightened. I'm not kind of like a hippy dippy dude, but I guess that's me just kind of being a soft talker. How about just tell me? How about that? Just tell me where you're at, where you think we're headed. Define health and fitness for me. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I'm in for all of it. So I hope this podcast, this Audible has stirred up some emotion, some thought processes, some ability for you to find a voice, to comment, to enlighten other people, and to bring it around. But let's start a whole entire conversation around this. Let's dive deeper into this, because I certainly want to have more podcasts around exactly this type of subject of what health and fitness really is today, and we'll go from there, because I think maybe the next podcast we can do, or one we can talk about, what are the things people are buying for health and fitness? That's an interesting one that I would like to be able to get into. Like, what are the products that are out there that the trend that people are buying into that are making them feel health and fitness? Are they buying followers? Are they judging it on their financial wealth? Like are they buying healthier foods? Is there gyms? Like, what is it now that people buy, that gravitate to can make themselves feel healthy and fit? I think we'll talk about that maybe in one of the future podcasts. So if you have any other ideas for future podcasts, just let me know down below. Other than that, share this, give this to your friends, your family. Let me know if you liked it. The more the podcast gets out there, the more that I can do, the more that I can help. So please help me out. Like, share, leave me a review, leave me a comment. I'm the only one that comments back to you. So that's where I stand with it. So until then, you guys, still live, still be great. Live in a fit identity. Whatever your identity is, just make sure you got a vision for it. And I will talk to you guys soon.
All right, what did we learn? What is healthy and fit? What is your healthy and fit? Because obviously mine could be different than yours, and yours could be different than mine. I think that we shouldn't judge, right? But there's obviously going to be some standards. So I would love to hear what you think the standards should be, and then what you think yours is, or what is yours, not what you think. Actually, what do you feel is your healthy and fit? And then on top of that, what do you think the standards are? I appreciate if you share this with your friends, because I think it's an opportunity to ask them, what do they think is healthy and fit? What do they think is a good place for them, realistically and honestly? Not what they're living, but what actually is healthy and fit for them. So again, I appreciate you listening to where I'm at with it, where I've been at with it, and where I'm going to be at with it. It'll ever change. I always say that. I may have an opinion today, but it's only an opinion until I hear somebody that has enough credibility and a good stance in which they can change my opinion. And I'm always open for that opinion to be changed immediately. So thank you again. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Another great one in the books. I appreciate you listening. Until next time, stay well and stay fit.